Welcome to What's Your Story, where we, Jaime Marco,
and Stan Brown,
delve into the extraordinary lives of everyday people.
Listen in as we uncover the unique tales that shape who we are,
one story at a time.
Hey, let's get ready to explore today's story.
Let's do it.
Oh, hello.
Oh,
Are you energized? Are you re-energized?
I am. Yes. Hi, Dad.
Hello, darling.
So I just realized that I was recording. The listeners don't get to see me stretching, but you did.
Well, listen, you got to do what you got to do when you got to do it.
Yeah, it's been a day. I'm getting I'm getting a lot done and powering through, but my brain needs a break. I just need
What was your number when you woke up, and what's your number now?
oh. Oh.
Did you even have a
My
number when you woke up?
when I slept really well last night, so
So
well.
you reset, you probably woke up as a zero.
No, a zero is bad.
No, no, you did a reset on your brain. You woke up, you were fresh. You was,
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah.
what are you now? Six, seven, eight?
I'm
Six and a half,
I'm
seven.
like a good 6.75. I mean, no, like seven. I'm like good seven. Good seven. What about you?
I'm always a constant eight and a half.
Always there's never a day when you're less than that.
When I fall off my bike, I lose a couple of points. Better points than
That's not a
living.
frequent occasion.
Yes.
Um, so it's so funny because it's listen, I lived under your roof for 18 years. And then
That's not true. We gave you your own room.
what? What do you
You lived
mean?
under the roof.
I was in, no. Anyway, I had a room, but I lived with you for 18 years. I'm like, what are you talking about? My brain's not functioning. I lived with you for 18 years and then I left, went to college. Then I came back, lived with you a little bit longer. But I was realizing today that there's so much of my life and people that I've met that you don't know. It's just so bizarre to me, which I'm sure is same with you. There's so many people in
Oh,
your
sure.
life. It's so bizarre. It never
And
changes.
Jamie, in the political world, they're called Ventric diagrams, where the circles overlap to minimal or larger degrees where the overlapping is.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate of my life. And so, but same with you. There's
Visual aids will come later. I'm sorry.
what?
Visual aids will come later for people who don't know what ventric circles are.
A Venn diagram for those that know it by a
Yeah,
Venn
yeah,
diagram, not a Venn
make
diagram.
up names, yes.
But so what's interesting is that I so I'm realizing this, and then I'm like, all these people, but same with you, you had another, I keep saying another life before me, and then even now, you have a life of people that, I mean, I know some of your friends, but I certainly don't know all of your
Oh,
friends.
sure.
And it's just cool. I don't know that I have a point. I just,
Uh, that's kind of how it works.
yeah. Oh, I know what it was. I know what my point was.
It's tough being normal.
So
It's not easy being
what?
normal in an abnormal world. See, if you're normal in an abnormal world, guess what?
What?
If you're the normal one in an abnormal world, you're abnormal.
It's funny is that I was actually talking to somebody and we were talking about getting them scheduled for this and they had messed up the date, whatever. We rescheduled this and that, not this session. And so she wrote back, she's like, oh, I'm such a big dork. And I was like, we're all dorks. And right now, my daughter is she's learning in school these different terms, and they're talking about who's preppy and who's goth and who's girly. And it's this thing, and it's starting at a young age. And I'm like, oh my gosh, if I could just educate all the kids of today and say, listen, we're all dorks. We all feel uncomfortable. We all feel these weird things. It's totally normal. We're all abnormal, but it doesn't happen that way. And just as of late today, I'm not sure if you get these notifications, but we had another school locally who had a lockdown based on a
I didn't hear
threat,
that.
a middle school, and the child has been arrested. I mean, we've had, I think since the beginning of the school year, we've had something 30 of them. It's heartbreaking. Thank goodness, no real threat. But this one specifically said that he had made the threat because he was sick of being bullied at school.
Well, that's a large contributing factor. There are many root problems for what's going on, and until someone attacks those root problems, has a discussion, whether it's mental illness, whether it's no life at home, combination. It's psychological issues. Bullying is huge by being the one who's being bullied. Till we deal with that, but in America, everybody has to categorize someone else to know what they are. They put them in pigeonholes. It's unfortunate, and you can't change that cultural situation. It takes years.
Yeah, but Dad, it's not just America. I mean, this is
Well, that's
happening.
true.
It's like this is a universal problem.
Well, I don't want to be the spokesperson for Czechoslovakia or parts of Europe, but because I've lived here most of my life.
Who are you the spokesperson for? I'm just asking for a friend.
Cranky old people.
You're not cranky. But the thing
I
is
didn't
that
say
like
I was. I'm just their spokesperson. Sorry.
it's
We
like
need
I
to,
don't have a venereal disease. I'm just their spokesperson. Like these people that are like on the
you
commercial.
get that. We should do a laughing yoga session with some people. Can we get a people who will listen, zoom in? We have like all different faces all over the screen.
Yeah. Is this your, do you not know how Zoom works?
No, but if we could do that and you and I could do a live laugh a yoga session, at least, 10, 15, 20 people, that'd be hilarious.
All
We've
right,
done it before.
listener. Okay, well, I mean, yeah, we could totally do that. I mean, I think, yeah,
My
one
home,
that I
my
like the
home,
most.
my home mantra is getting to this stage in your life. It is so much more important to conduct yourselves in a relaxed state than a stress state. But no one teaches you some of the basics of relaxation. It's critical. We're all stressed
Well,
out.
and we've had some guests who have, taught us some different tactics and things to do. But I think that it's like it's interesting. And I think that, we're all like I probably mentioned this 1,000 times, but I did, a talk with somebody recently and he did his like a TEDx talk and he did his and his was like being enough. And one of the things that he said in his talk that really I honed in on was that he mentioned a quote by Oprah, and Oprah had said that she interviewed like so many, I forget the thousands and thousands of
Yeah.
celebrities and politicians and famous people around the world. And she said that the one common thing that they all asked at the very end of their interview was exactly the same. You were there? Do you remember what he said it was?
Was I good enough for something
Yeah,
or
like how did I do?
yeah.
Like how'd I do? And that's the thing is that I think no matter where you are in life, you could be happy, you can this, that, but there's a moment or time where you're like, well, how am I doing? What are people thinking of me, this and that? And it's just interesting. And I'm having this talk, now with my daughter, your granddaughter, about how she was playing a game at school and everyone was cheering on the other people, but they weren't cheering her on. And I'm trying to like navigate that as a parent and be like, well, why do you feel like they need to cheer you on to feel like you're good at what you're doing?
You need to believe fully in yourself, but it takes time to develop, no question.
Oh, 100%. But if I could start to help her with
Oh,
those
absolutely.
now, then it's different. And what I think is really fascinating about today's guest, you like my segue there?
That's all, yeah, I do.
Is that she has certainly reinvented herself over the last whatever how many years she's been working. And what she's doing today is to help people feel confident in their own clothes. And I know that sounds silly, like we're talking about clothes, and I don't want to have it sound very what's what's the word? Vapid, right? I don't want to be like vapid, but listen, part of how you feel confident is the way that you show up. And so I have been through so many different stages of fashion, as I'm sure you are as well too, right? Different fashion. And it's always like, well, what do I wear? What do I not wear? I mean, Dad, you're super fashionable in whatever that shirt is that you're wearing right now. Uh,
Warning, warning, this show is not for nudists.
but I'm wearing the Steve Jobs uniform today. I've gotten Steve Jobs today. Um,
Was
but
he
I think
buried
that
in that
like
sweater?
what?
Was he buried in that sweater?
Yeah, I think he might have been. Smells better than no. But I think that that's a big part. Like we don't realize about how we feel confident in what we wear and what we do, and so we'll be talking with her about that.
Well, it's funny because I'm not big on clothes, but when you do it, when you like the clothes you're putting on, whether they're new or an old comfortable shirt or a certain outfit, you do feel a little bit better. You feel more confident in yourself. I think it's learning to feel confident in yourself all the time and really enjoy yourself and be free to express your opinions is a goal worth traveling toward.
Yeah. And like I think it's like, you watch there's like these so many great shows on television that the fashion is amazing. And I think that people are always like, oh my gosh, I have to like look like that or I have to be like that. Or some of the fashion is like outrageous where you're like, where did that even get on a runway? But I think that fashion is, or they say beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And do you remember me growing up and watching Punky Brewster?
Yeah, sure.
So I feel like she was like the original like fashion icon for me, where she had, I think, two different color socks, two different shoes, and just show that like if you're confident in what you're wearing and what you're doing, then that's what really matters. So who is to tell you that what you're wearing isn't look good? And But I mean, listen, I'm not going to be the one that sits there and says that I've reached that pinnacle of my life where I totally don't care what I'm putting on, but I like to feel like a little edgy and kind of
And
fun things.
today it's kind of Emily in Paris.
You are
Where
a
did she get those
publisher.
outfits?
Do you watch that?
Well, okay, let's get to our guest.
Well, we're
Becky,
okay.
is Becky there?
Let's go see if she's there. Stand by. Um,
Hello, Becky.
she is not there just yet, so we can add with
She's
our
getting
father.
dressed.
She's actually 3 hours behind us, so she may be, like still waking up or
No
doing
one's back. No one's back there.
whatever.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, here we go. Let's welcome her in. Come on, here we go.
Hey, Becky. Hello.
You're so before it clicks in. I love it now. You're like ready to go. There she
Hello.
is.
Oh, Becky's gorgeous too.
Hey.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh my goodness. I feel like it's been a hot minute since I've actually
I think it's been more than a hot
I
minute.
know, I know, I know. So, listener, I knew Becky another lifetime ago, but we have stayed connected via social media and like, wow, our
Yes,
lives
I
have
can.
changed. Hey, if you turn it horizontal, it'd probably be better for, there we go. Oh, maybe there,
Much
perfect.
better.
There
Much
we
better.
There we
go.
go.
Becky, have you ever, in our time, we lived together, we didn't live together, but we lived near each other in Chicago. Did you ever meet my dad? I feel like you might have.
I don't remember. I've definitely seen like lots of pictures and stuff.
Well,
Right.
hello,
Well,
Becky. Nice to meet
Hello.
you.
he wore his most fashionable shirt today because you were going to be with us.
Good
Tropical and
job.
topical.
Good job.
Hey,
We
first
were
question
just,
out of the box. You ready for this? You comfortable?
Yes.
Have you ever had a UFO experience?
oh my
Think
God.
twice. Don't answer fast.
No.
Minimal, none.
No. But my boyfriend is kind of into that.
Has he ever described his experience?
No, but like he tells me he sees things and he's like, it's not a satellite, it's not a plane. I swear it's something else. Yeah.
Okay,
All
well,
right,
that's
there you
good.
go.
Oh,
This is
thank you
my
for that.
dad. My dad's new kick. He's like, everyone's had an experience. I'm like, I'm not so sure about
Mm, I
that.
mean, not really.
Well, we are so excited to have you with us. And I briefly talked about what you do, but it's not really this conversation is not about what you do, but kind of like your path and how you've gotten to where you are. And we'll learn a little bit about you. You are in Arizona. So and have you been there for like 2, 3 years now?
I'm at 4.5 years.
Oh my God, 4.5 years?
Yeah.
Holy moly. Well, first, before we get started, we're going to ask you a question outside of the UFO nonsense. Uh, on a scale
What
of
nonsense.
on a scale of 1 to 10, one being that you should not have gotten out of bed today because it's just not a day where you should be peopling, to 10 being it's the best day that you've ever lived. Like you don't have a worry in the world. What would be your number today?
Oh gosh. I'm probably a 6. I have a really busy day,
Okay.
but I went to bed really late because I was like doing all kinds of things, prepping for the
How late?
day. And
How
yeah,
late?
like a little after midnight. It's a little late for me.
What time did you wake up?
Well, I get up, the dogs wake me up. I have my dog, and then my boyfriend has 2 dogs. So we have 3 dogs. So I know. So they wake me up sometimes in the middle of the night, and then again at like 5 to eat. So I get up a bunch and then I go back to bed. So I end up not really getting out of bed till like 8 o'clock because I have such broken sleep.
Yeah, it's sleep deprivation is like
Well, I
the
don't have
worst thing
kids.
in the world. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I don't think I could do it at this point. Yeah.
Yeah, we have been through a stage where she wakes up in the middle of the night and comes into our room and it's just once I'm awake, I can't go back to sleep and it's difficult. But anyway, I digress. It's not about me. All right, so what would it take to have you go? You said a 6, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm a little nervous for today because I have 2 big clients. So
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, I know it's going to go amazing. Let's kind of like we'll start wherever you want to start. Do you want to talk about what you do now and like how like where do you want to go?
I mean, like we can say like maybe like we met in Chicago doing like fun, get to know you groups, which
Yeah.
really that was oh shoot. What did I just do?
Okay. You're good. You're good.
There I go.
You know, we met, so I moved to Chicago in 2009. When did you move to Chicago?
2004, 5.
Okay, so a couple years from Ohio, right?
Yep.
And then you were born and raised in Ohio, correct?
Yep. Dayton, Ohio.
Got it. What led you? We'll get to where you are now. Let's go back. Let's go back in time. What led you to go from Ohio to Chicago? Like, what was that? How did that happen?
Well, I went to college in Wisconsin, in Madison. And so all my girlfriends, we all went to Big Ten schools. And I feel like, and everyone moved to Chicago after
Oh,
college, pretty much. Like
man.
girlfriend, like people we're, so Wisconsin, Ohio State, Indiana, Michigan, like, and then, those are all big Midwest. And
Yeah.
everyone went to Chicago. So I was living with a boyfriend at the time in Columbus right after college. And then I left him and moved to Chicago because my girlfriends were there. So
Got
I
it.
was like 1 year behind them.
Got it. What did you study in college? I don't think I ever know that.
Theater. I was a theater major.
Oh, I don't know, think I ever knew that. Or maybe I
I
did.
feel like you
Maybe
you
I
had
did.
you had to have known that.
Yeah, because I
You
mean, yeah, 'cause we,
you performed also?
I did. I mean, I'm not a singer or anything, like acting and dancing, but I was an acting specialist at Wisconsin. Yeah, we had to like audition for classes um and then my goal, like I had an agent and I had headshots but at the time I had a boyfriend and he was finishing. Actually didn't have this boyfriend until anyway, I grew up with him since we were babies. Like nice Jewish boy, and then we reconnected in college, but he was at Ohio State. So I wanted to be with him, and then he was finishing school. And so then I went and spent a year in Columbus, and our plan was like to move to LA or, New York. I mean, we were like really planning on that. And then, long story short, he had struggled with drug use, and I was like, yep, not for me.
So did he
And
help you learn to cry on demand?
I could have, yes. So literally, my parents moved me like 1, 2, 3, get out of there. Let's get you to your friends in Chicago. And so I have amazing parents. So that was how I really got to Chicago, like 1, 2, 3, and then all my girlfriends were already there. So it was a really easy move for me.
And then what did you do when you first got to Chicago?
So I did retail.
Right.
So that's what I mean, I always loved. So I worked at Neiman Marcus. Well, first I think I worked at Nordstrom. Then once I realized, oh, I can do like Neiman Marcus on Michigan Avenue, like I did that. So, and I was the Ellie Tahari specialist and I loved it. And then I really fell into like sales because I was just really great at sales. And at the time, um, I thought it would be like, fun and very Sex in the City, cool girl. And I did radio advertising for CBS. So when you met me, I was probably doing radio.
Yeah, I think you were like the
Yeah.
best dressed radio salesperson always.
Yes.
Like I'm looking
And
at your outfit right now, and I'm like, how cute. Like, listener, you may be watching YouTube and seeing her, but she's wearing it's like this bright, like lime green sweater with are the pants like they're so
they
cute.
are snakeskin,
Oh my gosh, so
Ooh,
cute.
baby.
Like
a snakeskin denim.
just absolutely so adorable all the time. Well, so that's amazing. So you're doing that, you're doing the radio sales,
And
working
then
in
I did
Chicago,
pharmaceutical for
CVS.
like a
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Because radio, that was when we were just starting to sell banner ads on websites. I mean, this was
Very
like,
early on.
right, it feels so crazy, but I was doing like live reads and all that. But radio is a really hard gig. And then it was slowly, becoming less and less. So I got into pharma, and then that was amazing. But then I was laid off. That was in 2008 when the market crashed. I was laid off I was selling Allegra D and it went over the counter. So
Mhm.
they literally like wiped the sales force out like within one day. They were like, thank you. We will be picking up your car, your computer. Bye. Um,
Gosh.
Thank you for
and
your service.
right, exactly. And then I took a whole 180. So I always loved working with kids and especially kids with special needs. So I didn't think I could make at the time a career in like fashion or retail. Retail was hard at the time too because you took hits if you got returns. right? So
Oh,
like people would
yeah.
spend all this money at Neiman's or whatever and take it home, and I don't know, maybe their husband would be like, return that. And so, but then you take the hit. So like in the months of January and February,
Oh,
you're
the
taking in
killer.
zero money. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
And people don't even think about that, right? They don't even think about the consequences that happen. Is retail the same still today? Is it all commission based?
most big retailers, like the three big ones, like Nordstrom, Neiman's, Saks, Bloomies, are all like commission based. Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't think I even knew that. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they might have a better structure now, but I know Neiman's is the same and Saks is the same because I ended up working at Saks when I moved to Cleveland. But
Right.
so I then went back to school. I got a master's at DePaul for special ed, early childhood special ed. So I got a master's and I taught for 10 years. I was a teacher through uh in Chicago. I moved in 2017. But in that time, I also still worked retail. Like I literally, you never made enough money to not, to just be a teacher. So, especially in Chicago, and I wanted to live in a safe building with a doorman, like things like that.
Yeah.
So, because I was still in Sandburg Terrace then for a while. And so I worked at that store on Wells, Sarah Jane.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, yeah.
And people used to mistake us for the same
I
person.
know.
She's also short and Jewish and raspy voice. And we looked very similar. So people would mistake us.
Is
Yeah.
her store still there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I feel like she's like one of the only ones on that street that's been there that long.
Wow. We used to live, Dad, in this well, you went to visit me, come to visit me, but like the best part of Chicago, well, not the best part, like Chicago, amazing city. Like you can literally
Yeah.
walk everywhere, do everything. It was probably one of the coolest times of my life where I could just like literally walk up my front door, go to
I
yoga,
know.
get coffee, go get breakfast, go to a museum, go to a park, go to the waterfront. I mean, just there's nothing, maybe in New York, but
I mean, I miss it. I for sure miss it.
yeah. Well, it's different now too, I think,
Yeah. But you
but
were across the street, like diagonal,
California,
kind of.
yeah.
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 And
So
the pool, I mean, we loved our pool. The
oh my
Sandburg pool was
God,
awesome.
the best.
Yeah.
How'd you guys meet randomly?
We met
No,
through
through leads.
through a leadership group that we met, and then we became fast friends. And because she was literally like my building was here, her building was there, we could see each other all the time. And then she knew Tiffany, and both have dogs, and
Yep.
so we'd go to the pool, we'd go out, to the bars, we'd go out, for we didn't, we'd get home early, of course, but
Of course. I was
I mean,
there when
yeah,
the whole situation when you met your husband and we were like,
yes.
you're going away to Napa on your third date. Like, what are you doing?
I know. So, listener, I did. My third date with my husband was me flying to Napa, California. I mean, totally crazy. I ruined everyone. They're like, oh my gosh, I was like the exception to the rule. But yeah, we used to go out all the time together. So it's so fascinating because you did that. You were there, you were working with children, and then I moved from Chicago in 2015.
Like right when you were pregnant or right
Yeah.
after,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I was pregnant. I was 7 months pregnant. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were there. We went to Zed 451 and had like a rooftop party
Yeah.
the other day. So then tell me, like, catch me up. Like, I know a little bit just because I've been seeing,
Yep.
on Facebook what you've been doing and there and that, but
So
like,
I
what?
had a short stint in like about 4 years in Cleveland. So I have family in Cleveland. And at the time, like I was still single in Chicago. I wasn't making that much money as a Chicago public special ed teacher. My friends were like getting married and stuff. And I was like, you know what? Maybe let's be a big fish in a smaller pond. So I thought like Cleveland, and I loved Cleveland. I have to say, I know people call it like what, the mistake on the lake, but
I've never heard that.
oh, you haven't?
You
Yeah,
haven't?
that's definitely a thing.
Have you heard that before?
Who, me?
Yeah. Have you heard
I
that,
made
Zane?
it up. I created it.
Whatever.
But so I moved to Cleveland and I loved it. I met some great people. I did date, like I had boyfriends, whatever. And I did special ed there the whole time. I was at like a special, like an autism school, But then I got back even heavily into retail because I worked at BCBG until it closed at the mall there. And then I worked at Saks in the dress department. And that's really where like I got back into like the, designer world, the higher end shopping. I really connected with customers. And I decided then COVID hit. So I was in Cleveland through 2020 towards like I moved here in the summer, August of 2020. So like I was there in Cleveland, the school shut down. Saks did have us back, but we were wearing masks and like it just became like, oh my God, like it was still shutting down. It was May, it was snowing. I remember like it was still like terrible weather. We were cooped up. And I have a girlfriend who I grew up with who lives here, and she lived here for, I don't know, 20 years. Like after college, she moved here and her parents moved here. So we grew up together, Jewish girl. And she kept always for years, she convinced me, like, you got to come out here. Like, you love the sun. You love to do stuff outside. Like, come out. And I was like, fuck it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And I literally packed up my stuff. I sold every piece of furniture in my little apartment in Cleveland. My mother and I drove across country, took about 2-3 days with my dog, Mia, and we moved out here. And so I spent like the summer of 2020 till now. I've lived in, this is like my fourth place. But the great news is, since being here, I met my person, which I had been waiting for like literally forever. I met him at 42 because I'm about to be 44. Yeah. So about a year and a half ago, really even. And the house we're in now, we bought together. So we bought a house, together in Scottsdale.
Start. Whoa. Woo.
Yeah.
How did you guys meet? How did you meet?
We met on Hinge, and I am here to tell you girls that I did every online dating you can imagine. I mean, I easily could write a book. I'm sure like your sister, like
you need to reach out to her. Maybe she needs to move to Arizona.
It's awesome, and it's great for like our age, single. I will say like it's a great divorcee place. Like if you think of like, I mean, we're at that age in our 40s where people are already getting divorced.
Is
so
it
like
affiliated with Cringe?
What?
Is it affiliated with Cringe?
What?
No. What is that?
About?
Cringe. What's
oh my gosh, ignore him right now. Hinge is a dating app. He doesn't even know what Hinge is.
No, I'm saying is there's also one called Cringe.
There is?
No.
Oh my God. I just can't. Anyway. So that's amazing that you guys, and so is him.
I narrowed my search. Like I was very specific. Like I had gone out already a bunch of times here and a lot of ghosting, a lot of the same, but I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to make my search so narrow. Like I only want Jewish. I only want between like this 7-year age bracket. I only want this area. Like I was very, very specific. And he, I think, had somehow matched with me when I took myself off the site. Like you can be on, but not active. And I went back on and then noticed him, and he was cute right away. But his one of his messages on there was, if you don't like Dave Matthews and going to concerts, don't go out with me. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I love. Like, so besides fashion, I love music. We go to concerts all the time. And so we talked on the phone once, and I don't think I had ever done that with anyone. Like he called me, he was stuck at the Chicago airport for a work thing. And I kept thinking like that was kind of a big deal. Like he's with work people. He didn't have to talk to me. So I was still like very reluctant on our first date. We went to a restaurant that they have in Chicago, Etta. So they have an Etta here. Okay. And I sat at the bar and I was like, look, we are not having dinner. If I like you, I will order food, but we are sitting at the bar and we're having a drink. And then I will decide if we can continue this dating.
Oh my gosh. Have you watched Nobody Wants This? Have you watched that series?
I haven't finished it.
Okay, there's like a series where she's like sitting with him and it's like so funny. She's like, I'm not ordering anything. And it just reminds
Yeah.
me of that scene. Yeah, it's so funny. That's
Because I mean, I learned from my years of dating that like I'm not committing to dinner if they're absolutely awful. And then you have to sit through dinner.
Oh, it's torture.
Yeah. So, and I knew I liked him, but like you still never know. Like that was the first time we met in person, but we stayed, we sat at the bar, we did order food, and we liked each other so much that we walked to get ice cream. And then
This
he
is
walked
like
me
nobody
home.
wants this. This is like that
Said
movie.
he wasn't a rabbi by any means.
Did he grab your face and kiss you like he kisses him? I mean, like that's
We
like
did make out.
the
And he was the first Jewish guy I ever met who drove a truck. That's a big thing. Arizona people drive trucks. And I was like, why are you in a truck? Like, I don't get it. Like, do you haul hay? Like, what do you need a truck for? But people drive trucks here.
That's so funny. And so that was it. And the rest
That
is
was it. And we really like very quickly. I knew that he was in love with me when he lived far, actually. He lived like 35 minutes or so outside of Phoenix in Anthem, because that's where he lived with his ex-wife and his kids. He had been divorced like about 8 years. And I had my dog, and I lived in Scottsdale. And one night I came out to hang out, and he's like, well, I want you to stay the night.
Oh, don't ignore that. That's it's everything's recording. Ignore that.
Yeah. He's like, I want you to stay the night. And I was like, well, I have to go get my dog. So he literally drove with me 30 minutes to my apartment in Phoenix to get my dog, drove us back to his place, and then drove us back the next morning. So I was like, he must be in love.
So he not only called the next day, he drove you someplace.
Oh, that wasn't exactly, that was definitely a few dates after that. But
Becky, are you acting now or were you acting then?
Wait, so is Hinge? I don't know Hinge because Hinge was not around when I was there.
It used to be like its shtick at the beginning was that you had mutual friends. Like through Facebook, it was kind of linked, but it's not that anymore. It's really no different than Bumble's thing is like the girl can reach out first.
Okay. That's right. Yeah. I actually just saw the coolest thing about Bumble. So just listener, I met my husband on Match.com. So we are both success stories. Amazing. But I just watched this thing about how they marketed Bumble in the beginning and how they had like really like adorable girls wear Bumble shirts and purposely go on college campuses and walk into a class that was already running and be late and be like, oh, I'm sorry. And then would leave. And then they would also put up signs that said, no more Facebook, no more Twitter, no more Bumble. Like just to like make it go viral. Like she is
Wow.
the CEO of Bumble is a genius, or her marketing team and her amazing. But yeah, I mean, like it's interesting how, my sister, like the online dating things, you have to put the work into it.
I mean, and I did. I
You
literally
remember, yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a second job. It's a second job. Were we friends? So I remember when I was on Match.com and I'd met this guy and it was like New Year's Eve and he's like, let's go get some coffee. I'm like, okay, then we'll go early. I don't know if you remember this story or not. We were friends at the time. And there was a Starbucks that was like on the corner of North and Wells, right there.
Yeah.
Starbucks.
Yeah.
So that's fine. New Year's Eve, we'll go early. We'll meet for a coffee. Dad, I don't know if you know this story, but it was winter. So there's always homeless people at the Starbucks. It was always like the same people that were homeless. So you got to know them, like you get to know them. So I go to Starbucks and I see like the same old guys and they're like, oh, what are you here? I'm like, oh, I'm going on a blind date. This guy's coming. He's like, oh, they're like, this is going to be fun. I'm like friends with everybody. So they're inside because it's like, or they're like out, they're not inside, but kind of like outside by the window. It's trying to stay warm. And I'm sitting. And so I'm facing them at the window. And these guys, like, I know them, like they're the homeless guys. They're always at Starbucks. They could not wait for the guy to show up. So the guy shows up. I show them his picture. I'm like, this is what he looks like. And they're like, not that you have to be attracted to somebody on the outside as well as the inside. So they're like, okay, the guy shows up. This guy walks into Starbucks. I mean, we've all experienced this. Looks absolutely nothing like the picture was. Like complete nothing like him. And maybe he's watching right now and he's like,
maybe he was meeting somebody else.
No, he comes in, he sits down. So now we're sitting and I'm like facing the window and he's facing me. So all the homeless crew are outside the window and they see what's going on. This is like the best, I'll never forget. And they're like, no, just go. Like it was the funniest thing. And I stayed and I talked to the guy and he was nice, but
you were probably too nice. Like situations like that, I literally would be like, Yeah, I'm really sorry. Like I got a message, I gotta run.
I felt bad. And then I was like, gotta go. But yeah, but it's online dating's hard. And, I've seen it, I've done it, you've done it, but I'm so glad that you've like
I mean,
found.
I did it straight. Like I did it in every city. I did it when it first came out. I mean, I will say I did meet people on JDate. I think to a different, like to a certain age. Um, like yes, Josh was Jewish, but like he wasn't so Jewish that he felt like he could only do JDate. And so like I had to realize that I could meet Jewish people on other ways, but you can very much specify your religion and if you're open to it or not. And so I had just decided after dating like, other non-Jewish guys that like it just wasn't the same. It just wasn't.
Yeah. So
And
you,
that's not
I
what I
mean,
wanted. I got to turn my fan on. I'm schwitzing in here.
so I mean, the last 2 years have been quite the upheaval in your life. You
Yes.
met Josh, and so he has children. We don't have to talk about, but are they
They're
young?
much older, like in their 20s.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
so you guys are able to kind of focus on your relationship. And then you've now again just recently reinvented who you are professionally as well too. So you get
Yep.
out to Arizona, you automatically start working for Ever Eve at that time?
I moved out here with a job at a school.
Okay.
And then I knew that I wanted to still do retail. I knew of Evereve, but like to be honest, like I didn't really shop there because I was snotty at the time. I was working at Saks and I was like, what's this store? And so because they had it in Cleveland, I just didn't shop there. And then I walked into the one here and I asked if they were hiring, and the manager was like 9 months pregnant, and she was like, I told her my experience, and they essentially like hired me on the spot, like with my experience and my personality and whatever. And it really became amazing. And I worked my way up so I was working full time as a teacher for my first 2 years here. And then, I mean, really, I worked with children, with special needs, like low functioning autism for a solid 10 years.
Incredible
And
in
I pretty
itself.
much
That's
hit,
amazing to do
yeah,
that.
I hit my, it's very
It's
draining.
draining. Oh,
And
absolutely.
yeah, and I'm also very little. And I did work some years with like really big guys because you can be in school till like 22, according to the state. I mean, I had some big dudes and I was like, I cannot do this.
Yeah.
So I left and I was already working at Evereve, and they were able to give me more hours, and I kind of just became like a full-time lead. And then, they do a great job with their career days. And so if you tell them that you want to move up and you have all these ideas, they really work with you. So I very quickly then was assistant manager. And then about a year later, I was like, I'm ready. And so they have another store that's in Phoenix, and it had just remodeled and it was really big. The area is called the Biltmore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a very known area because that area was more built up before Scottsdale, because that's considered Phoenix. So then I ran that store for a good year or so, and I loved it. I like had very loyal customers. I mean, styling, all of that. But then you realize that being a manager is not as fun as it sounds.
Mm.
um I stopped doing the things that I loved, which was the styling and working with customers. I had to manage 27 women, which is in itself a very difficult task.
Mhm.
And I learned so much about the business, but I learned more honestly about myself. And like I just wasn't good at, I have ADD, but like usually most environments lend themselves to that. It works for me, but like trying to keep like 27 people and 75,000 things to do to run a store, it was overwhelming. And so I decided in July, so not that long ago, and this was Josh's idea. I mean, if I did not have him or his support, um, there's no way I would have just taken that leap. And not just financially, but like really it's the support. And he was like, why don't you have not only your own, at first he said your own store. And I was like, okay, you need a lot of money for that. Like, we're not doing that. But I know that people do that styling and personal shopping, and I love organizing. and closet clean out. So like, for example, I'm going back to a woman's house today. I did an initial consultation with her closet, and she happened to tell me that she has family pictures next Monday. And so I pulled some clothes for her. I'm partnering with a local boutique here. And she actually reached out to me, and she wants to partner with me. And we're going to like, I get compensation from selling her clothes, you know, bringing it to women outside. And so I've got a car full of clothes that I'm bringing over to her right after you guys for her to do like a try on just for family pictures.
Fun.
Whatever she doesn't like, I'll just take back. And then after that, I'm going to another closet consultation of a customer that I had worked with at Evereve. And I'm getting all of the petite customers because that really is a niche. You know, my last three customers are literally like 5 feet, or I'm 4'11". So, you know, not everyone knows how to dress everybody.
Right. Well, and what's interesting is that you're almost like those people that are, rather than having to have a box shipped to you where a random stylist is sending you stuff, you're coming in and just doing that and really helping people. Not only like, are you always bringing new clothes, or are you
So
helping them
it
out?
depends. Like the way the setup, like what I would offer, like so my website is almost gonna launch probably like next week. So the name is Be Styled by Becky, like BE, really just through Instagram. And so the idea is you go to somebody's house, you do like a closet consultation. First, you look through and say, okay, we definitely have a lot of stuff we got to get rid of or consign. I can also create outfits from what you do have, because a lot of people have great pieces, but they have no idea how to re-put them together or reinvent them. And then I really do a good analysis of, you know what, here's your 5 to 10 like core pieces. Like you've got to have a great black blazer, you know, you've got to have a leather pant, you've got to have, you know, like whatever those you know, true basics are. And I'm working with this third party like technology platform, which is very cool. They provide like ways to do pretty like mood boards, you know, when you can see like it's a blank white behind and it shows like the dress and the shoe and the necklace all beautifully laid out. So I wouldn't know how to do that. So like I use their technology, and then I actually can send links to people,
That's great.
and I can earn commission through this company,
So
which
how do
is
you
really
So, okay, so I've talked to you about this a million times. I have a closet full of clothes that I look at and I go like this, I have nothing to wear.
right.
I'm like,
I mean, that's most women.
and it's so aggravating. And so then you go and you buy something else, then you don't end up wearing that. So
Right.
thinking about like you're in Phoenix, I'm here in Florida. What's your plan to work with clients that are remote like that? I know you're going to,
So
but tell
we
us
were
about
gonna try, I mean, I was gonna try to do like of course, like virtual things. I know people can do it. It's probably way harder because you have to like stay on Zoom and either like show all the pieces or try on. But I mean, my goal, like, for example, I went to Chicago a few weeks ago and did 5 of my friends' closets, you know, to start working. And as long as I have a few people to work with in the area, I'm happy to fly. So like I have people I want to do in Cleveland. Like I would love to come there, and maybe you, your mom, you know, your sister, like, and so to make it make sense, as long as I have a few people, I just think it's better to travel.
what are you finding is, I know you're only working with women, or do you work with men? Do you work with
So I can work with men. I have not started yet, but as every time I've gone to people's houses, they're like, you know, my husband could really use that. Or I
you see my
actually,
dad's shirt today? Just
right.
kidding, Dad.
I get more compliments in this shirt. Are you kidding?
I actually have moms also telling me like daughters or just kids even. So first of all, like young kids do change. Like you have to get new clothes almost every 6 months if they're growing. And so that is annoying. I know lots of kids are very like, I only want to wear this. I mean, they can be 5 and tell you exactly what they want, I'm sure.
No tags,
Yep,
no ribbing, no, I mean, oh my gosh. Ugh.
right. So
I
my
want
friend's
these
daughter,
groceries, mommy, and then I get home. I don't like them anymore.
yes. So I have that. And then there's a big need here for like that teen or tween age or like they have all the dances and they don't want to wear the same dress. And so that, and then I decided, I mean, I have yet to do all these things, of course, I'm just getting started, but I'm going to advertise myself in all the synagogues and the JCC to be like your bar bat mitzvah go to. So for the whole family, right? Like I could outfit the mom, the dad, the brother.
It's a great niche to have because that's, I mean, that's like so where you spend in your space too. I love that.
Yeah.
So first time working for yourself,
Yes.
first time doing it, what have been some, I mean, it's only been a few months since July. What have been
I would say like I really started because like we traveled a ton through the summer and I was just figuring out even how I was going to do stuff. I did not really get started, I would say hardcore till after Labor Day. So it really hasn't been very long.
Got it. So
Yeah.
new times, and I know by the time this airs, it'll be sometime next year. Actually, so listener, we're recording these earlier, and then we launch them later to make it easier for all of us. So what is, I mean, like, who's your ideal client then? Like right now, like thinking about growing your business and developing, who is the ideal person that you find is someone that you can help?
So I would definitely say like the working mom who she has a great job, but she also has kids and she likes to go date night and she goes out with her girlfriends and she goes to her kids' sporting events and they travel and they have events. Like, I mean, really, and you do have to have, I shouldn't say you have to have the means to be able to do things because you can shop from within of what you already own and you don't have to break the bank and go, shop all designer. But I think that if you want to do like from start to finish, so I have a customer now who they want to kind of keep me on retainer for the year because they want to do this season and they want to do another season and they have all these events throughout the year and then you hit holiday and it's like I didn't even think that was the thing. Like,
Yeah.
and so
That's
she's
the best program. That's the best.
really, it is. So she's a big time lawyer, but she runs her house. She's got two younger kids that go to sporting events. They're two boys. So, like, they still want to look put together at sporting events or, kid activities. They don't always want to wear, not that it's anything wrong with wearing leggings and a sweatshirt, but like you can do leggings and a sweatshirt and still feel good about yourself and like put together. You know, there's that divide of moms that they feel like because I'm running around and because I'm so crazy, it doesn't matter what I look like. But it does because it makes you feel good. Like there is nothing better than getting up and getting dressed and leaving the house. Even if I put on a workout outfit, it's a matching workout outfit, or I feel good in it, and you even do a better workout. Like it really is like getting dressed, and it just builds confidence. That's what I learned at Evereve. You have moms that maybe they just finally lost their baby weight after 5 years, or whatever it is, or they've put on weight, and this is their new body, and how can we dress for our new body? Most women, I'd say, don't wear the right things for their body. Like just because you might have a pear shape or an oval shape doesn't mean you just wear flowy tops and dresses.
If
Yeah.
you can make a small portion of the business retainer base, like concierge stylist, even 20-30%, that's killer.
Right.
It's funny, you were
So
talking earlier about doing like a retail store. My parents did that many, many years ago. And Dad, was that a big headache?
Only thing worse is a food establishment.
oh, that's worse. Yeah. I thought about like maybe eventually doing something just online where it's like everything is drop ship, you don't have to have like a brick and mortar, but
You like
we'll see.
the personal context are very important for you.
Yeah.
So,
But I
all
really
right.
think,
I'm sorry.
yeah,
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
yeah, I think there's a need for it. I mean, women care, more and more of what they look like and how they're put together. And even if you just want to do like, the one time over redoing your closet, even that feels good to just like purge and know what to wear. You don't have to like do $1 million shopping spree.
Well,
Well,
you
you
offer
said earlier,
multiple services in the
Right,
same space, which is great.
right.
so I caught it. I wrote it down: leather pants and black blazer.
Yeah.
Willing to give
Really
us
good
like, go
fitting
ahead.
and tailoring. people do not like, as a short person, you are not going to walk in somewhere and it's going to fit you perfect most of the time. You have to be open to like getting something tweaked, because that little amount makes a huge difference.
I'm actually headed to my seamstress after this call to go have a suit taken in because it's
Wait,
too.
for real?
Yeah, for real. I buy it. So I have this brand that I love for work that I can pack their clothes and they never get wrinkled. And I
Oh,
have
nice.
so many suits from them and I love them. It's called Skies Are Blue. I'm not sure
Oh,
if you've heard of them. I
I
love.
don't.
Yeah. So like I've all, and they're bright color suits. So like my thing
Fun.
is I'm facilitating or giving a keynote. I like to be in bright colors or just like really pretty, like, colors that just whatever. And so I bought this adorable suit from them that I'm gonna, but it's too big because I'm too short. So I'm gonna go have that taken in for a talk that I'm giving in November. So yeah. So I
Nice.
love that. So what would you say would be, I mean, like look at you have over the last 44 years, right? 44, yeah, led
Yep.
quite a dynamic life. You've traveled in some of the biggest cities, even if they were, not known to be a great city. But you were in the Midwest, then now you're, out west. If you could go back and just give advice to your younger self, not to change anything, because obviously you wouldn't be where you are today and with the love of your life, what would you tell yourself? Like, what would be some advice you would give yourself?
Um, be okay with changing paths, because I really would beat myself up every time. I'd be like, why didn't I just stick to teaching? Or if I loved, retail from way back then, I could have just stayed and I would have been, much farther along now. But it's really not true. I gave myself grace every time I did something different, but I also, like, anything I wanted to do, I did. I was always a super determined. Like I said, I want to do radio. I did it. I want to do pharmaceuticals. I did it. Like I wanted to be a store manager. I did it. So like, but if you don't have, like, don't beat yourself up, I think, as much. I would tell myself, because it's okay that I learned after a year or so that management wasn't for me. And so many people would have just been like, no, you worked hard to get here. You stick it out. I mean, that's also like an older mentality, like give it 5 years. Like, I don't know that my mental health would have been okay to give it 5 years and having a new relationship. And I was like, that was more important to me, honestly. So I wanted the freedom in my mind to do what I wanted and be who I am, and, not be told I wasn't doing things right, and have the time. You know, time is obviously very precious.
Mm,
So,
love it. I love your story. I love getting caught up on it and like learning new things and hearing what you're doing. And I'm so happy that you have found a new happy place. And I think it's incredible and that you're doing that. And I can't wait to see what comes next for you.
I'm very curious, what does the guy who drives the truck do for a living?
oh, so we are actually pretty polar opposite, which is good. Besides that, we love music and all of that. He is a sales engineer. Like he taught himself for big HVAC systems. So he sells to contractors, or like, a hospital or big giant HVAC here, which is obviously very needed. But he taught himself from the ground up, and he does sales calls. So he doesn't like fancy, he doesn't get dressed up, but he does a good job of putting himself together. And I've of course taken him shopping, and he got me to go camping. So like
Mm.
I'm learning a whole nother side. Like he likes I love outdoors, but I was never, I mean, my family, we didn't go camping. Like that wasn't, yeah, we don't do that. But I'm finding that it's okay. We did it. We drove all the way to Washington State to the music venue, the Gorge, to see Dave Matthews recently over Labor Day for 3 days. I camped for 7 days. We drove out in his
And a
camper,
tent?
not in a tent. So we have a bed in his camper, but we do not have a shower or our own like toilet. He has a toilet thing that you put outside, and it does suffice. But
Emergencies, yeah.
the shower thing, like maybe one of these days we'd get an RV and then I would for sure do it, because it is great. And we loved being outside. So it was really fun. But
because
in a million years, no one would have guessed that I would go camping.
No.
what's his first name?
Josh.
Ask Josh the last time he had a UFO experience, because Arizona is a big hotbed.
No, it
What
is.
in the beginning?
See?
Wait, he literally watches. There's these, not the UFO show, but he's very into Oak, the Curse of Oak Island, and
Sure.
yeah. Oh, he's obsessed with that.
I have no idea what that is.
I didn't either. He loves the paranormal, or he definitely thinks like there's things out there. And I know there's stories throughout the desert, and yeah.
Sure.
You're in the right place for it.
Yeah.
Well, we know you have a big appointment to get to and to prepare for, and I know it's going to be amazing. I'm so grateful that we had this time to like catch up. And that's what, I mean, we started this podcast of just the fact that like so many people have different stories of what they're doing. And your story, like, oh my gosh, so many cool stories within one. Like you talked about how, like, I had so many more questions to ask you about working with children that are on the spectrum and learning about that. Maybe that's another conversation.
I'm happy to come on anytime.
Thank you. So grateful.
And I will tell you ladies, keep doing online dating. It really does work. We both met our people. Like, I really did keep going. Like, do it one more time. Just do it.
And looking good will make you feel good.
That's right.
One of these days, my dad will learn that you don't have to lean in to talk to the microphone. We can actually see his full face.
And
Looking
follow me on
good.
Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, Be Styled by Becky.
I love it. We will totally do that. Amazing. I am going to go look in my closet. Oh, wait. So really fast, top
She's
five.
got 2 appointments. Let her go.
I know. Hold on. Top 5 staples. So black blazer, if you're okay with black blazer, leather pants. What are the other?
A really good leather skirt too. Those are the 2 leather pieces. You want a high boot, a good high boot.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be like a super high heel. I would say a really great cream sweater, like a neutral sweater.
Okay.
And
pickleball outfit.
and so and a fabulous pair of jeans. I mean, you need a best fitting jean.
All right. So there we go. I love it. I'm wearing like these crappy jeans right now. I'm not going to show you. They're called boyfriend jeans because they're like super baggy and comfortable. But anyway,
well, we'll have to figure out a way for me to come out there. If you have girlfriends, I'm telling you, I'll give you a big discount for referral. We'll come out there and I'll work with a bunch of people.
I need
great good luck in the new biz.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Becky. Love you. Good luck in the business. It's amazing. I'm going to keep watching. We're going to all watch you. And we appreciate you sharing your story with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Hello to Josh.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I feel like I need to like go look in my closet now.
Well, yeah, you can fly around here. A lot of people would jump on the bandwagon and make a whole round robin trip.
But I think what's really cool about her is that like she's reinvented her passion, right? So like loves fashion, love being in that, love being in sales, and now has combined it all together. And that's the thing is that like, you know, I think when you're a little kid, you always think that there's like only one job for you, right? Like we get caught up in like what career.
That's social conditioning, sure.
Right. But there's so many different jobs out there and different opportunities and careers that you can do. And if you would have asked me when I was 9, what I would be doing, I would never have thought of this. I would never.
I had the perfect name for her website.
What is it?
The petite stylist. Huh? What do you think, huh?
I'll let her know.
All right. The big petite stylist.
Do you see yourself leaning in when you talk to me?
No, because I'm leaning in. I can't see myself.
You're the original Sheryl Sandberg of lean in. I love it. Like you're like this sometimes. So tell me more about what you have to say.
Move your eyebrows. Move your eyebrows. That's it. It works.
See, no Botox there. You can see the movement.
There's no AI here. There's nothing phony. What you see is what you get. We should do. We can't do a call-in series where they can call in and we can answer things on the spot.
Honey, you should say that. I was going to talk to you about that.
What's so funny about it? I wasn't kidding.
Let's discuss. But we'll do that offline. Until now, listener, listen every week. We never know what we're going to get. We don't know what the story is. We don't know. We know a little bit about the people that we're talking to, but hey, we appreciate you listening as well.
How do they communicate with you? They send you an email or something on the website? Or what do they do?
Yeah. So if you have like for an idea for a guest.
No, if they want to just say something to you.
Oh, like right now, they could just call me.
Just call you? They can't.
What do you mean?
I want all those people with UFO experiences just to write in, yes.
Oh, they can comment on the YouTube channel.
Okay.
Or they can go to our social media pages when we post this, they can comment in the social pages, like on Facebook. We post this on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. My dad is very curious who's had a UFO experience. So if you've done that, please comment below of wherever you're watching.
New campaign. Just say yes. I like it.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Okay, kids. Adios. Hey, thank you for tuning into today's What's Your Story podcast.
To learn more or share your story, go to jaimemarco.com. That's www.jaimemarco.com. And we will see you next time.